Hello again, and welcome to Best WP7 Games. Today we're taking a look at Bubblebreak, which is, as you might expect, a game about, well, breaking bubbles. Now, as you can see, as I move my thumb on the right-hand side of the screen here, I'm actually rotating the colour wheel, rather than anything else. And what the colour wheel does is it determines what what colour bubbles you're going to fire out of your launcher. Your launcher being that collection of bubbles on the right there. You see as I tap, it shoots. I also picked up a power-up, which launched a bunch of other things, bounced another shot back, and in fact just cleared the level. I'll explain what happened in the next level. Just got a bunch of achievements for, I think, basically scoring with with one shot, finishing the level, and barely having to move at all. Just pass through. I'll show you again how this works. So again, I've locked the colour wheel, but you can have it constantly rotating, which is its default setting, which is actually hard enough. So as you can see, whenever I tap, I launch a ball. And whenever 3 or more balls of the same colour come into contact, or bubbles rather, they burst like that. And then the ghosts of the bubbles sort of launch in random directions, and if they hit the launcher, they bounce back in whatever colour of the part of the launcher it was that they hit. Now, you also notice I just took out a whole bunch of bubbles in one go. That worked because I hit those little glowing things in the middle, which are magnets. All bubbles are attached to a magnet, and if you manage to hit the magnet with a bubble, it will destroy the magnet and clear any bubbles that were attached to it in one go. And generally that's your aim in the levels, is to try and clear a route so that you can hit the magnets, or magnet, depending on the level, and obviously enough to clear all the bubbles from the level. So the game basically amounts to aiming your shots correctly and also picking the right colours using the colour wheel, both for launches and for when trying to cause rebounds. Or, if you're playing like me here, you just hope for the best, which worked out well, as I ended up taking out, again, all of the magnets with only a single launch by bouncing back the taken out bubbles. You can see, I believe the patterns are actually not random. I believe it's obviously a load of predefined patterns, but the order in which they arrive is random. So certain playthroughs will, if not be easier or harder, they'll be different, which does add, it is, I think, a good choice. But it does add a bit of a random element, which means for a leaderboard-based game, you might find that annoying. The controls can be a bit awkward. You see something like it doesn't. In that case, it was my fault, but occasionally it does seem to glitch a little bit, but I think it's nothing serious and it's not too common. More of an issue is the fact that the colour wheel is obviously right next to the track on which your launcher moves, meaning it's actually quite easy to accidentally end up turning the colour wheel instead of the launcher, or vice versa, any of which is annoying. The other problem is the power-ups. You saw me use one right at the beginning. I also just missed one in the last shot. Are actually very hard to read. I haven't learned to recognise them yet, because the game doesn't really introduce you to them in a gradual way or make it necessarily too obvious what they do. Like, obviously it's fairly obvious once you've used them what they do. Not always. Some of them are very obtuse. As you can see, at least the colour wheel also only ever reflects what's on the board. So as I'm down to only a red ball now, it's going to stay red and only ever red. Which I think is a good design. It's user-friendly, rather than having you accidentally clutter up the board with colours you don't need. Didn't manage to rebound the second ball in, so I'm going to have to launch one final shot. But yeah, this is Bubblebreak. It's available on the marketplace for, I think it was 99p. It's a simple enough puzzle game. It's quite well thought out. The music's quite annoying, as you may have noticed, but aside from that, it's well worth a look. Available on the marketplace now.